This is me, Gayatri Prakash, and welcome to my page. എല്ലാവർക്കും എൻ്റെ പേജിലോട്ട് സ്വാഗതം. So today I would like to discuss with you all about OET writing. This is basically for the self-preparation students. Whomever wants to prepare themselves to score a good mark in your OET writing, this video will surely helpful for you all. And here I would like to share with you some of the tips. How can I crack my OET writing by self-preparation? Okay, so let's move on to the tips. So tip number one, basically everybody knows, like whomever is preparing for their OET writing, we usually knows that to get our OET to writing, first basic things we must know. When we start to prepare ourselves for OET writing, the first main thing is we start to write a lot with the help of a pencil, not with the help of your pen. Because why I'm suggesting you to use the pencil, which means if you do any mistakes, that can be erased. But when you are writing with the help of your pen, you can't erase that. So thereby, the paper neatness will go while we are writing a letter if you are writing with the pen. But if you are writing with a pencil, whatever the mistakes, that can be erased and you can change that. And then also, even though after erasing, we can make it in a very good way, so it will look pleasant and neat. So the person who is evaluating our letter, they are able to understand what we want to express in that letter through our handwriting. Okay, so try to practice always. Either it is a simple letter, either if you want to make a rough copy, or either just wants to clarifying the doubts, I'm just writing and show to my friends, whatever. Once you start to prepare your OET writing, start always with the help of a pencil and write the letter always with the help of a pencil. Okay, second thing is handwriting. Handwriting is very important. I'm not asking you to write it in a very beautiful way, but it has to be legible. Keep it in your mind. Only the legible is very important, because the person who is reading our letter, they must know what exactly we have written, what letter we have written, what word we have written. That it is very important to know to the evaluator, isn't it? So thereby, our writing should be legible, not a beautiful, or it's like in a scribbled way or a very expert way we have to write. It's not about the handwriting, it's about the legible. So what you are writing, that has to be legible for the evaluator. Okay, this is the tip number 2. Tip number 3, basically we know that there are 3 types of letters, isn't it? So start always with a simple letter. So if you are going to YouTube's or Facebook's, there are so many academies, they are posting their letters and the question papers in their Google, and so many letters are there. So take one letter first. And if that same letter has been written by many people, which means just compare your letter with that other person letter. Why I'm asking to compare your letter, which means you will learn some of the sentence making and how the way they have organized that information. And also it is very easy for you to understand that, okay, this is the way also we can write this letter, because we used to write it in a very different way and the other person might written it in a different way. So when we are comparing and seeing, we able to understand different way of writing one's letter itself. We can write it in a different method. So these different methods will help you to write your another letter. So this is, we are just learning. When we are preparing ourselves own without any tutor's guidance, by watching videos, by seeing the Facebook, and just by getting the information from our friends through the institutions, whomever is going to institution. So when you are preparing yourself like this, it is always better to compare your letter with other letter who is good in writing, who is going for the classes, and who is just publishing their letters in the Facebook. So that time it will be very easiest thing for you to know your mistakes. At the same time, it is easy for you to learn new words, because OET writing is a very simple writing. It's not like IELTS, like we need to learn many synonyms with the same meaning, different words. No, it is not at all like that. Just a simple grammar, simple past tense, simple present tense, and a very simple active and passive voice. This is more than enough for us to get past our OET writing. And basically we first must understand what is exactly the case note is saying, and also we must to know to whom we are writing the letter. That is very important thing. If you know the what to say, job rolling things. For example, if you're writing to your music therapist, if you're writing to your occupational therapist, if you're writing to your dietitian, physiotherapist, pharmacist, psychologist, community nurse, home visit nurse, home care agency, nursing home, so you must know this, all the job rollings, what these people can do for our patient. This information is related to them or not, this information, this advice is related to them or not, will they able to do this all the works to our patient. So if you figure out the job rolling of the persons, which means it is very easiest thing to make a letter, because we are just picking only a informative information which is able to do by that particular receiver of the letter. So thereby it is very easiest thing to narrate the letter. So whomever is preparing at home, first always think, always we have to make a rough copy. Okay, physiotherapist, what they can do, physiotherapy can teach the exercise programs to promote the stability, or to promote the mobility, to promote the impaired balance, isn't it? That's it. This is a one job that physiotherapist can do it. Does physiotherapy can give medications, can change the dressing? No, not at all. So there itself you can see which is important, which is not important. Dietitian, only she can make a menu plan. To make a menu plan, she must know what BMI, what likes and dislikes, what is allergic, and what is the past medical history. So based on that, she will make a menu plan. Only that is a thing she can do it. She can't give a medications. She can't take the patient. She can't give a patient treatment at ICU. She can't change the wound dressing. So she can't do anything. She can't arrange a physiotherapist. She can't arrange another person to help the patient. No, only she can make a menu plan based on the patient condition, based on the patient background, like how about the patient intake, output, and then how about the patient's restrictions, allergic reactions, BMI. Only this is the thing she wants to know. So there itself we know which is informative information and which is unnecessary information. For example, when you're writing to a psychologist, who is a psychologist? Psychologist is the person who is treating a patient mentally, isn't it? So he is not a general physician to give a medication for cold and cough. Psychologist is a person can treat the patient psychological problems, depression, mood swings, and patient refusing to take the medications, eating disorder. So these and all can be written it in our letter, rather than writing the patient taking diabetes medication for these many years. That is irrelevant for the psychologist. Okay, for example, post-operatively patient become post-operative psychosis. For example, patient refused, patient having the denial, and patient is having low mood, patient is depression, patient is having suicidal thoughts. So this is and all the important matters to write it for the psychologist, rather than post-operatively patient received antibiotics and antihistamines, patient was changed the dressing, patient started with physiotherapy and occupational therapy. This is an irrelevant information for the psychologist. Well, when you're writing a letter to a social worker is a person who can help the patient to meet his social needs. So what she will do, she can't provide any medications, she can't change the dressing, she can't assist the patient for activities of daily living such as eating, drinking, and toileting, and for example for changing the dressing. No, she can't do that. But what she will do, if the patient don't have an accommodation, patient have an immigration problem, patient is a refugee, patient don't have a job, patient don't have a GP, patient needs some programs such as physiotherapy programs for improving mobility, patient needs quit smoking program, patient needs financial support, so income producing activity. So these and all things can be arranged by a social worker, but she will not do any medical related issues, treat the medical related issues. She is not a nurse, she is not a doctor, she is not a physiotherapist, she is not a dietitian. She able to arrange this, all the people involvement in your patient care, but she can't do anything. So please understand the job rolling, to whom we are writing. So that person able to do this all work, she is authorized to do this. So if you know that, you will able to pick the proper information from your case note, and you can do it in a better way. Coming to the point of while you're writing a letter, always remember, to write a letter we need an introduction. Proper introduction is very important. While you're writing a letter, to whom we are writing, what is the purpose is necessary for them to know, and what is the patient condition. And coming to the point of body paragraph, as per the letter, sometimes we may write a social history as a first and then medical background as a second, because when you're writing for the social worker, it is a social background is important, not the medical background. So likewise, to whom we are writing, as per the person, we have to change the body paragraph. And then recommendation paragraph, as we know that requesting way, we have to write it like kindly and please, would you mind, could you please, it would be greatly appreciated if you could. So likewise we are just writing it. So while we are writing that one, we must make sure we have to do the proofreading. Always practice with the timer. Don't do that I will able to manage the timing, I'm a speed writer and I able to do it in a good way. I know everybody able to do it in a good way, but sometimes some letters will make us to think a lot and it will take most of the time, isn't it? So in that situation, what we must do, which means whenever you are practicing a letter, whatever the letter at whatever time that you are practicing, always practice with the help of your timer, because timing is very important. 5 minutes for reading the question paper and there is remaining 40 minutes as there. So in the 40 minutes, always wind up the letter in the 30 minutes and remaining 5 minutes always utilize for your proofreading. So the proofreading will help you to prevent spelling mistake, punctuation mistake and mainly gender mistake, because we know the patient is a male or female, but sometimes when we are writing the letter unknowingly we used to use she. Where to use she, there we used to write it as he, and where to write he, there we used to write as she. So please try to prevent this all the mistakes. That only one thing will help us is our proofreading. So try to do that. And also whomever is, no madam, whatever I do somewhere something I'm missing and I'm doing the gender mistake, what should I do? In this situation I'm giving you one tip. What you can do, which means soon after receiving your question paper, the first 5 minutes we used to not to touch our pen or pencil, isn't it? So once the bell is, once they are saying you can start write, so that time what you can see, you can write it on the top of the paper with the help of your pencil. Patient gender is she or he, like that you write it. So that will pop up to you all the time in your mind whenever you're seeing the question paper. So that will help you to prevent your gender mistake. Always in the top of the paper write it in the bold letter, she, he, patient gender is male or patient is female. So like that FM or she, he, this will surely will help us to prevent the gender mistake. This is the easiest way to prevent the gender mistake. Okay, and the proofreading will surely will help us to prevent maximum the simple silly mistakes, like as I said, the punctuations, gender mistake and spelling mistake, and also make sure that your spelling should not be mistake. So some of the persons, some people will be making spelling mistakes. Some words it is very difficult to make. So what we can do, after your writing the letter which is you are doubting, just go to the Google and you can type it. Automatically the correct spelling will come. So thereby you can learn it. It is not necessary that someone has to correcting you your spelling. And even when we are just texting a person's, like for 2 hour message by through the WhatsApp you're texting, so if you are made it as a dictionary method, so you can get the correct spelling over there. So these all are the way, simple way we can just rectify our mistake when we are preparing ourselves more without any tutors. Okay, and also if you have a friends whom is going to institutions to learn the OET writing, which means get some advice from them and share your letter. If they have a time, just ask them that, would you mind, can you please check my letter, is there any mistakes, and ask their letter and compare with them. And also the best method of practicing is always the writing a letter is, first always make a rough copy and then go for the fair copy. What is meaning of rough copy? Rough copy in the sense, it's not mean that you have to write the entire letter in a proper systematic way. No, just write. So to make an introduction, I need 3 things. What 3 things I can pick it from the letter? So one is name of the condition, another one is purpose, and the third one is I need a patient name. So this all things I got it. So write it as introduction, as a small like in a short way, you can INT or O intro, you can write it 3 points only, you write it. Then body paragraph. So now I am going to write the present medical history. So what are the information I needed? Okay, patient admission date, date of admission, you can write it in write the date, and then complaints you can write it. Then you can write the surgery name, and then post-operative period. In that physiotherapy, diet, like that. A simple hint if you take it, you will never forget to pick the information while you are making a fair copy. And then you are coming to the social background. So this is the way you have to make a fair rough copy first. After making a rough copy, if you make a fair copy, you will able to prevent the mistakes, and also you can within time limit period you can complete your letter. And this is the easiest and the proper way of practicing your letter writing. Surgery name, and then post-operative period. In that physiotherapy, diet, like that. A simple hint if you take it, you will never forget to pick the information while you are making a fair copy. And then you are coming to the social background. So this is the way you have to make a fair rough copy first. After making a rough copy, if you make a fair copy, you will able to prevent the mistakes, and also you can within time limit period you can complete your letter. And this is the easiest and the proper way of practicing your letter writing. Okay, and also make sure always that simple thing is like, whenever we are writing a letter, pencil. and you always use the line paper. Yeah, this is a very important thing I want to say. Don't practice always the plain paper, because during the exam time you will practice, you will write a letter in the line paper. Line paper is the best option since the beginning of practicing of your OET writing. So start always and write a letter and in the line paper. So what we are practicing, this is the same way we are going to write it in our exam time also. So please practice in a proper way. That proper practice will help you to get your proper score during your exam time. Okay, so I hope these tips and all will surely helpful for the students who is who is getting ready for their exams, upcoming exams, and also who is planning to prepare themselves by watching the videos or by watching the Facebook and other letters and everything. So just utilize these tips, and these tips will surely help you by yourself and to score a good mark in your OET writing. Okay. And whomever wants to join to our class and whomever wants to know more about each modules in a detailed way, our number has been given in our description, so you can contact us